In the game Spirit Island, you are attempting to conquer an unsuspecting island by exploring areas of it, putting towns and cities into those areas. Out of those, you'll build even more troops which will take over more regions, and you're attempting to overwhelm the native people that live there who are protected by these pesky, annoying, ancient, magical beings. Except, not at all. It's actually the exact opposite of that. In Spirit Island, you actually play one of those magical ancient beings that live on the island and are trying to ward off invaders from taking you over, and you work with the native people to try to basically fight against invasion. All the things I just said actually happen. It's just the game does it to you. The game is going to explore the island. It's going to build cities and towns on the island. It's going to send out even more troops into more spots on the island. All that stuff is happening, and you're attempting to stop it and get the invaders off your island. Before we jump into the playthrough, I'm just going to show you a real quick big picture overview of what's going on so the playthrough makes a little more sense. But also, if you check out the description down below, I have a link down there for my Patreon page. I just recently launched. I just encourage you, if you like the channel, if you've been around for a while, go down there, click on that link, check it out, see what's over there. And with that, let's jump in. All right, so there's sort of three main things going on out here, and we're going to start with the most important. This is the island that I must defend. If we lose this island, the game is over. We're going to start out here by putting a town right here. And even larger than that, we have a city in this zone because of that symbol. Now we're going to put out the good guys here. These are the people who live on the island I'm going to be fighting side by side with. Their symbol looks like that in the game. This is just the initial setup. You don't have to know this for gameplay. I just want to kind of show you how the island got populated. Now the main bad thing that's going to be happening to me in this game is this invader deck right here. I'm going to flip these cards over. I'll reshuffle here in a second. I'm going to flip these cards over. They're going to give a type. This is sand. All these sand regions are going to get invaded. What that means is anytime you see a sand that is touching a city or a town, in this case they both do, we're going to place these little invaders onto that area. So they have now explored those sands, and this card would go here. Now the next turn, all the sands are going to build. If there's at least an invader in the sand, they're going to build. So actually they're going to get towns put onto those sands. Just like this. And then unfortunately you will flip another card, and now they're going to explore some jungles. Just like the explorer from earlier, if there is a jungle next to or with a town in it, they get a new explorer on them. And in the third turn, the sands are going to get ravaged. They're going to have a war in the sands. So I'll explain a little bit here. So there would be a battle here. As it turns out, I would lose almost all my guys out there and have a lot of bad stuff happen. So that's why you have to fight back. And then they're going to build in the jungle, and they're going to explore something new. This is going to be the cycle of this game. They're going to go through this deck here, and everything they flip out to something new, the old cards are going to get pushed up higher and higher and higher into worse and worse zones, while new stuff is continually being flipped out. And so new crises are arising while you're trying to fix the old ones. I'm going to place a big stack of fear cards right here. I'm hoping to scare off these invaders, right? So if you can generate enough fear by moving these fear tokens into this pool, you're going to flip over these cards. First of all, these have a positive effect for me. The invaders are getting scared, but if you flip over enough of these, the victory conditions get easier. The game begins, I have to destroy all the towns, all the cities, and all the people to win the game. If I can get 3 of these fear cards out, now I only have to destroy the towns and the cities. You can get 3 more of these cards out, now you only have to destroy the big cities here. So it gets easier the scarier and scarier the enemy gets. If you get all of them out, then you just straight up win the game. Like I said, you do that by moving these fear tokens down, which you do by destroying cities and towns, and also some cards allow you to do that. The only other thing you see on this board over here is what's called Blight. Basically, if they do enough damage to the island, when they do that, you're going to take a Blight and put it onto the island. If you get too much Blight placed on your island, you automatically lose the game. All right, so this right here is me. I am a spread of rampant green. I'm basically a forest kind of monster that's going to fight back using these cards here. You'll see most turns I'm going to be deciding which cards I want to play against the opponents. We'll see them all as the game goes along, but there's ways to acquire new cards. New cards right now, there's minor powers and major powers. They're all kind of off the camera, so there's room for everything. Right here, I have my presence, what's called presence. You see, I start with a couple out here on the island, but here I have all these covered up slots. Right now, every turn, I get a total of 0 energy to spend. I can only play 1 card. That's not much. As the game goes along, I'm going to place more and more of these things, these presents, out onto the board. And as you see, they'll uncover things. Like here it uncovers a green symbol, and now I get 2 energy a turn. So I'm going to get more powerful as the game goes along. Actually, this game is great. Your monster spirit of the island guy starts out really weak. By the end of the game, you could be playing 4 cards a turn and be gaining a lot of energy. Every person has kind of their main thing they do, and the main thing I do is I have ways of discarding these tokens from the game and then basically keeping things from happening. I can stop them from doing a ravage, stop them from doing an attack by discarding one of these things. So I can kind of delay their action. So I'm going to use delay actions. I'm going to use some of these cards and hopefully fight back. We're just going to jump in and I will explain more as we go along. Oh, one more thing before we jump in. This game is really hard on solo mode since you don't have basically a teammate there to play off of and help you in basically times of need and stuff like that. So there's a couple suggestions to make it easier. I'm going to do one of those suggestions and not let them do an initial explore action. Hopefully it doesn't make the game too easy. I guess if it does, we'll just have to film another playthrough down the road sometime, playing on the full difficulty, saying. But again, one difficulty easier. They should get one initial explorer to send some more people out there. Not doing that. With that, let's jump in. Every turn you start out by choosing one of these growth options. Now my specific character, all these characters are super unique. My character says always place one of these into a jungle or wetland, one of these blue or one of these green spaces. I get to put out 2 a turn lots of the time, so it's sort of my character special. I'm actually going to go ahead and do that and place this on top of that jungle right here. So I can place on top of a jungle. I have a double stack here. There's lots of times you want 2 on top of each other. It's called a, I don't even remember now, it's called a site or something. You want that because some of your cards say they have to be originated from a double stack of your tokens basically, instead of a single. Most of them are a single one away, but some of them like this one here, it has to originate from a double stack. So you do want lots of those on the board. So that is my bonus. Now I'm going to pick one of these 3 options. I'm actually gonna do my second option here. It says I can place a presence up to 1 away. So I'm gonna place it on top and basically get 2 double stacks out here. And also says I have an additional card this turn I can play. This turn I get 1 card played in total. Right here it says I collect 1 energy. So I'm gonna get 1 energy. Again, that's off the board so I can make room for that. So here is my energy. It also says I get a green symbol, which is going to be relevant here in a second because these powers I can activate on the bottom if I play so many of certain color symbols. So now I'm going to decide what cards I want to play. So I'll just real briefly talk about what my basic cards are. Every person starts with their own unique 4 cards. These are obviously the same back as that. So these are my cards. There's also, like I showed you earlier, other cards I'm going to be acquiring that are more generic for all players. But these are my specific cards. So the first one here says I can damage a town or a city. So I can do damage to one of these places out here. You don't really want to damage something in this game without finishing it off because they heal up to full health beginning the next turn. I have this card here that lets me add more of my presence out there. I have this card here that also lets me do that with the potential of maybe adding fear. And when you really want to add fear, makes victory conditions easier. And then also this one here allows me to push. Pushing basically does things like, hey, I want these 2 guys to move into this region. So you can sort of manipulate the board a little bit and move things around. I'm going to start out here just nice and solid and play these 2 cards right here. Now the energy I got a second ago now has to go away because I spent it on that card here. This card costs no energy. I am playing 2 cards. I should only allowed to play 1 card. But remember, I took the second option here. This option says I can play an additional card. Now this is kind of cool. The red cards are fast action. These I get to play before the invaders attack. These cards, the blue ones, they basically get to attack first on the turn. So this card takes place first. This says target spirit, that's me, I'm going to target myself, adds 1 of these in a region up to 1 away. Now I don't really know where I want to add it right now, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it onto this region right here. Okay, so like I said, this happened before their turn, and now we're on to their first explore phase. Now, I'm going to keep going pretty slowly through this first turn here. Once we get through a turn, you kind of see how it works. I will speed up, but let's keep going kind of step by step here. So they're going to explore. We're going to flip a card over. They explore the water. So any region out here, a water region that's touching or has a city or a town in it, it's going to get a soldier. So this one here has a town in it. So you want to go right here. This one does not have anyone in it yet, but it's touching this town. So this soldier comes out of this town and explores that region. Now you might think, well, that wasn't too bad, but this is going to slide down. Next turn, they're going to build in those regions and then also flip over a new card to explore. So it'll get worse and worse until we get up to 3 things they're doing every turn. Now it is time to use my slow card here. This slow card right here says damage to 1 town or city. Town has 2 health. The cities have 3 health here. So I'm going to do 1 damage to this town here. You can turn it sideways to remember that you did damage to it. Now, you might think, well, you didn't kill it. I did say it's going to heal at the end of the turn, but I actually activated one of my special cards here. So you have these special, but not cards, but powers. At the bottom of your board, you have these powers that are activated if you can get certain gem combinations. Right here, this says if I can have 1 and then 2 greens, 1 white and 2 greens, I'm going to activate this first power here, which says to damage. Now, I'm actually realizing, no, I can't do the second level. The second level says 1 white and 3 greens, or 2 whites and 3 greens. I have 3 greens. I have this little permanent green right here, but I don't have 2 white gems. So I'm going to do the first level here, 1 damage to a city or town. So this one had the 1 damage from the card, 1 damage from here. This is going to get wiped out. So this is gone now. That's great. And because I wiped out a little town there, I'm going to get 1 fear added to this. Again, if I can get 3 added to here, I'm going to draw my first fear card. But for right now, I got 1. And as complicated as all that seems, it's actually the first turn. You have some turn cleanup things. If there's any damaged people, they flip over to full health right now. That's into that turn. I have used these 2 powers up. I'm going to discard them way over here so I don't get them mixed up. And I'm going to start my next turn. Once again, I'll start my turn out by doing my personal bonus, which put additional little guy out there. So I'm going to put this thing right here into this water right here. And then I'm going to pick one of these 3 options. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to actually put this into this jungle region right here because of the card I want to play in a second. Now, I'm going to pick one of these 3 options. I'm going to pick the far right option here where it says to gain 3 energy because I'm pretty low on energy. So I get 3 energy right away. I also going to gain a power card. So I can choose a minor or major power. I'm going to choose a minor power. The reason for that, if you choose a major power, you have to throw out one of your cards you have, and they tend to be pretty expensive. I don't have very much energy to work with, so I'm going to go for a minor power right now. So I'm going to draw 4 cards off the top here and pick one of them. Okay, so we have something to let me gain more energy, a defense card. Here we have a card that makes the people of the land, my buddies here, do damage, which is great. This one here says invaders are present, gain a fear. If it's sand or water, remove a blight. One of these things that make me lose the game. So one thing when you're picking these cards out, you just don't want to blindly take the cards you want the most. You also want to watch out here for these symbols. Remember, if I can get a lot of white, greens, and blues, I activate my special powers. So I'm actually going to go for this one here, even though I don't know if it's the best card of that group. Adding a fear is cool. If it's target land, sand, or water, remove a blight, which would help me get rid of that blight right there on that sand. But also it has blue and white, which will help me with either one of my 2 powers. So it kind of fits well into my hand. Okay, now I'm going to gain 1 energy. I got this 3 energy from this growth up here, but every turn you're going to gain the energy see listed here. So I gain 1 extra energy. And now you're going to see why I took back this play earlier, because this one here allows me to add 1 more presence. So my guy is all about getting a whole bunch of these things out there really quickly on the board. And now you're going to see why. I'm going to do this power right here that says add. I'm going to go ahead and pay for it, which it costs 2. So I'm going to spend my 3 and get 1 return. But I'm going to go ahead and do this power right now because again, this is the fast power. It happens before the opponent takes his turn. So this one here says add a presence. And I think I want to add the one that gives me more energy. I can add it anywhere I want to. And it says add 1. If the target land already has 1 and it has invaders presence, add 3 fear. This is really cool. I'm going to put this on top of the one I already have. It already has 1. Now there's 2 there and there are invaders present. So I'm going to add 3 fear, which is actually all the fear left into the fear pool up here. So you get 4 per player. So just 1 player is just 4 up there. All 4 right there. I draw a fear card and put it right here. We'll get to this in just a second. Then all 4 fear immediately goes back to the top. And every time I add fear, again, once again, they're going to start going down. You just go through this cycle trying to add a lot of fear, draw a lot of fear cards. It activates now before they take their turn. So you're going to flip this over. Whatever your current fear level is, right now I have no terror level. I'm still at the beginning of the game. So I'm going to read off the first one here. Each player may push 1 of the good guys here from a land with invaders or gather 1 into a land with invaders. That hasn't really helped me that much this turn. Basically, I can maneuver some of these guys around. I might want to put some in this land. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll put 1 in this land here to try to prevent something bad from happening next turn. Well, we'll see if that works out. There's not really a lot I can do with that one right now. So now we're going to do their invasion turn. So they're going to build first in the water. So over here, remember I put this double stack right here? I can remove the top of this double stack and prevent a build. That's kind of my character special. Like I have so much forest in this area because I'm spreading forest everywhere and they're not able to build this house. So both kind of come off the board together and this house never gets built. That's again, my character special. That's what he does to kind of fight back. They're also going to do a build in the other area because I do have an explorer here. I'm kind of realizing now I did that backwards. I really should have probably prevented this building here for the very reason of if you could have no buildings on this half of the board, they can't explore that half of the board, right? It would be pretty cool because you have to send people out of towns and cities, but I guess that's why I'm playing on the easier difficulty level because I'm bound to make some mistakes like that. So that's done. They're now going to explore something new. They're going to explore jungle. So any jungle touching a city or having a city or a town gets a guy. So a guy goes there and a guy goes right there. So yep, that would have been way smarter just to keep that one from being built because that would prevent that from being taken over. But again, maybe that's why I'm on the easier difficulty level. And actually that's about the whole turn. I don't activate, I I do activate this power right here, which says damage a building, but again, they heal up the end of the turn, so I could do 1 damage to that. I don't have any slow power, so this goes over here, and that is the end of that turn. We're right on to the next turn now. Okay, so this turn we know they're going to attack the waters, they're going to build in the jungles and explore something new. I feel like there's not a lot I can do offensively this turn, so we're going to take a very defensive turn. I'm going to put out another one of these things here into my free thing here, a jungle or a water area, and I think I'm going to do this one right here because I really don't want to get kind of stuck in there. I want to be able to prevent that one, so I can already prevent this jungle, so I have a double one over there, but again, not a lot I can do really cool. I'm mostly going to be playing the defensive strategy this turn, so I'm going to go ahead and take this power right here just because I really want to get a second card out. So I'm going to play this one right here, a second guy out, just to prevent that. I feel like soon here I'm going to be able to start fighting back. With this turn, I'm just going to have to try to keep the brakes and keep them kind of at bay for one more turn. I'm going to play both these cards because why not play both? This one costs 0, this one costs 1. I get 2 income this time. I'll just take 1 because I know I'm going to spend 1 to play those cards. They are both slow cards, so I don't get to do them before their turn. Their turn happens first. So first, they're going to Ravage in this place right here. So they're going to Ravage, attack this. So if they attack this, the city's going to do 3 damage, the Explorer 1. That's going to be 4 total damage. They would hurt this guy right here. Actually, they would kill this guy right here. They would also put a Blight from over here into that spot. That would be really bad. I'm going to prevent this one by, again, that's my character special. I'm going to get rid of this piece right here. I lost a little bit of influence in that area, but I prevent anything bad from happening, right? Unfortunately, I can't do anything about this one right here. I moved this guy into the zone last turn thinking I could push an extra one into there, and I just simply miscounted. So this guy is going to be gone. So he only has 2 health. Those 2 health are going to be beat by this guy doing 2 and that one 1. So he is gone. And anytime they do more than 2 damage on a turn, they get to add one of these blights. So if I run out of these over here, I lose. So that was not good. Thankfully, that is done for now. They're going to build in jungles. And I'm going to prevent both these things. I have enough going on with these waterways. I'm going to get rid of both these. I'm losing presence fast on the island, but hopefully it works out for me. I did this once, this strategy, and it worked out really well. So hoping it works again. So, okay, we got sand coming up here. So they're going to explore into these sand areas. There's a sand area right there. There's a sand area right there. Now that all looked really bad because it was. But now I'm going to try to fight back a little bit. So got this card right here. It says if invaders are present, add a fear. And then if it's a sand or a water, you also get to remove a blight. So I'm going to do this one right here. I'm going to basically target it. And yeah, this is going to go away. I get to remove this blight. You put it back over here because your island is now a little more safe. I also get to add 1 fear. Not a crazy good card, but you know, I guess it got a little help. So for my next card, this one here allows me to push up to 3 of my guys. I'm going to push this into here. Now, I miscount this last time, but this is actually a good move this time. My hope is that when they attack in this jungle, this guy's going to do 1 damage, right? He's going to hit this guy, he's going to injure him, but it won't kill him. He gets to fight back if he doesn't get killed, and he will actually wipe out this troop. So this is what I should have done last time, and I simply miscounted. So that is hopefully a little better for the future, and that is the end of the round. We're right on to the next turn. This turn here, at least part of my turn is pretty obvious. I'm clearly going to take the reclaim card action, because I've gone through all my cards. I don't have any left to play, so I'm definitely going to reclaim cards. First, obviously, I'm going to put out one of these things in the jungle or water, though. I don't have a strong preference, except sometimes you need those double stacks to send out powers, and I don't have any more left except this one on this side of the board, so I feel like I need to get another one here. I'm going to take the pickup action here. So reclaim cards, take all your cards, and now I have access to all of them again. It also says getting a power card. Once again, I'm going to go for a minor power card. Eventually, I probably want a major power card, but you have to toss a minor power to do that. So I'm going to go for a couple more of these minor powers first. I really want to get this card right here because it gives me a defense of 5. Defense is actually better than I keep removing my tokens to stop them from doing bad things. Defense is better though, because when you defend, they don't do damage to you, but then your guys on the island, these guys, the natives of the island, they get to fight back and do damage back to them. So if you defend them, then it's better. So you actually can wipe them off the board. So this is actually a pretty good card. I feel like I need some way to do that because right now I'm just stuck in a bad cycle of preventing them from going 1 more turn further. So now you decide what cards I want to play. I'm not worried about this Ravage because they're both going to do damage and I'm going to hit them back. This is actually a good thing this turn. They're going to build in the sand. So if there's anybody that can prevent that from happening, that would be great. Let's kind of see what cards I have here. Okay, so I'm going to do this one here, which I think is a combo I did in the first turn of the game as well. So I get 2 energies still, and I'm going to spend 1, so I'll pick up a total of 1 energy this turn. I'll go ahead and do the fast power here. And this fast power is going to be adding my presence somewhere. I'm going to take this one off right here. I think I'm going to put it on this zone right here for right now. And then we'll do this in a second. We're on to their turn. So they're going to start by ravaging. This is where it gets kind of cool. So we're going to have our first real battle. So they're going to ravage. This guy does 1 damage. These guys have 2 health each. So he's going to damage this guy right here. So technically you should flip him over. Remember that has 1 of his 2 health gone. He didn't do 2 damage, so I don't have to add a blight, which is good. But then these guys fight back. They get 2 attack each. So 4 damage. This guy is long gone. Same exact situation over here. This guy's going to do 1 damage. He does 2 back, he only has 1 health, so he's gone. So this is kind of how you want to play the game. Unlike what I did the first 2 turns where I screwed it up, I actually had a turn where they attacked. It was a good thing they attacked. So I did more damage back and I didn't lose anyone. They're going to now build in the sands. I'm not going to do anything about this build right here. It's just going to happen. So that one gets built. This one here, I'm going to do the thing where I spend one of these and stop it from happening. So that one didn't get built. So that one's done. And then we're on to, okay. The game's about to get harder. We are on to level 2 cards. And I just drew the hardest card from all the level 2 cards in the game, and that's Coastal Lands. They activate all the coastal lands. So they're going to explore everywhere coastal. So you get this one here. There's a little water right here, right? This is coastal, this right here, and this mountain is coastal. So that is the toughest one of all the level 2s, because again, they just hit all 3 of those rather than 2 spots. It's also tough because you get spots like double hit. You could draw like a water and a coastal at the same time. So anyways, that's a pretty tough card. That's okay. Things are about to, it was turning to my favor, so it's just about time for the game to do something really, really hard back to me. So back to my turn, I get to do the second part of my turn. And this is actually similar to what I did before, where I'm going to get to do a damage, but I also activate my special power by having a white and 2 greens. I'm going to get to do basically 2 damage on this turn, so I get to wipe out one of their towns. I have kind of an interesting idea here, where I want to wipe out this town right here. And again, when you wipe out a town by damaging it, that's 1 damage there, 1 damage there, you get to add a fear. So 1 fear is going to go up there. By the way, when I got rid of these guys earlier, no fear gets added for wiping out guys only from towns and cities. So I get to add a fear. My idea though is if I can have a battle happen here next turn, I can get rid of this town. I could have what I should have done the first turn, this half of the map cleared off. So maybe I draw a jungle and they don't get to place a guy there. That's a great way to kind of get ahead in this game, is by having regions of the map where you don't have to place guys because there's no towns or cities. So it's kind of a long shot, but we'll kind of see if that happens. So those 2 cards are done. We do have a little cleanup this turn because these injured guys get to flip back over. So he's going to flip over here and everything heals up to full health and we're on to the next turn. Okay, so I'm going to place one of these guys onto this zone right here, I believe is my bonus place I get to do. And also I get to pick one of these 3 things. And I think on this turn, I guess I might as well, I'm kind of torn between these 2 options, right? Gaining an extra power card would be cool. Having a bonus play could be cool. I like the energy. I did have gained one of these things out. Then I'm going to go for one more of these things out like this. So on my turn, I gain 3 energy this time. 1, 2, 3. And I have to pick what cards I want to play. I can play up to 4, actually 5. I can play 5 cards. So I can play all my cards I want to this turn because I have 4 over here. You know what, I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to play all 4 cards. Like, why not play all 4 if I can? So it costs a total of, these are zeros, a 2 and a 1, so a total of 3 energy to do that. Now let's kind of figure out the best way to do it. Again, I'm going to play my fast powers before they get to go. So let's kind of see what makes sense to do here. This one, I know I really want to use. This is a defend to 5. You have a little token here if you want to remind yourself of this. I'm defending this zone here. I'm going to save this guy with a defense of 5. They'll do 3 damage, 1, 2, 3. He gets defended, then he fights back. So this card, I know I want to do for sure with that one. I think this one here, this other fast power, I get to add a presence. Now I'm all out of presence, but my guy allows me to take destroyed presence. That's why I'm keeping a little pool here, putting it back on the board. Normally you can't do that. Once they're destroyed, they're out of the game. But this guy loses a lot of presence from being out there all the time. So I get to add one. If it has mine already and invaders, then I get to add 3 fear. I think that's worth it. So I'm going to go for this zone right here. And I get to get 3 fear. So 1, 2, and then there's 3, and I get to draw, this is gone by the way, I get to draw a fear card. And that's all I get to do before their turn. So now we're on to their turn, and basically those are my 2 fast powers. And we're going to flip this over and see what the fear card does. Oh, this is awesome. Each player removes a guy from a coastal land. This is literally perfect. So I'm going to remove this one guy right here, my only threat in the mountains, because that saves me from him building in that zone. It seems like a small perk, but removing a guy from that just saves an entire town going here, which could have got people to explore here. That's a really good card. So these fears can be really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and move it down right now because I don't I won't use it again. And then we're going to go on to their turn. So they're going to ravage in the sand. So here I have my defense of 4 card right there. So I'm going to defend this first. So this guy is safe, doesn't get any damage because his defense is 4 or 5 and they do 3 damage. He fights back with 2. I'm going to assign both to this house right here. It says house is gone. That's going to add a fear. They're also going to attack here, but they only do 1 damage. It's not 2. So thankfully nothing happens in this zone either. That card is done. They're going to build in all coastal lands. I'm just going to do my thing, so why not spend 2 of these guys and stop them from building. I'm really worried about this huge stack right here. I need to push some guys over there to fight back, but I haven't been able to yet. So now we're on to Explorer. I'm kind of excited about this Explorer. Cool. Mountains. You might think, well, that stinks. You just got rid of the mountains. That's exactly, we haven't had a mountain card yet. So check this out. They're going to explore mountains, but they can't get to this mountain. There's no city right there. So that saved us from having another town and another Explorer. So that is really what I want to have happen there. So now we're going to push some of our guys, push some guys around to new areas, or we can, yeah, we're going to do that for sure. I think what I'm going to do is push one of these guys into this zone right here, and I'll tell you why in a second. I don't want to push 2 because I want to leave 1 guy to try to wipe out this guy next turn. So I'm going to do that right there. This is if invaders are present, I can choose an area. Okay, there we go. I do have a double stack here. So I can choose one. This is a water. It doesn't matter. Basically, I want to choose an area with opponents where I have a double stack, and I have one right here, and I get to add a fear, and I get to take off a blight. That's even better. Cool. That's actually the perfect reason. That's what region. I should have chose that the whole time. So those cards are all done. At the end of the turn, though, I have 1, 2 white, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 green. So I get to damage. I get to damage again. So I get to. Oh, too bad. I didn't even count that up. Unfortunately, since I did prevent all the towns, the slow powers are interesting. As you can tell, the reactive powers, you let them play first and then you do your turn, which is really cool sometimes. I thought they would have a town I could destroy, so I could do 2 damage with doing the second level here. I can do 2 damage to this big guy here, but again, it's going to heal up at the end of the turn. So a little unfortunate. If I could have wiped that big city out, this game would have basically been over. But those are all my cards. End of the turn, we clean up, heal everyone. No one's hurt right now. So next turn, I have to start out here by putting out a presence. I'm going to take again one of the ones that were dumped. They're going to try to ravage. I'm not worried about that. I can add a bonus. I might as well add a bonus this one right here, right? Because this is the one that's in the most danger right now. I have to pick up cards. I have no cards, but I pick up a card. I'm going to gang a power card, and this time I'm definitely going to gang a big power card here. So there are these major powers. I'm going to draw 4. I pick one, then I must throw away one of my minor powers or one of my character powers I started with. Ooh, this one is awesome. See, these are more expensive, but they're pretty cool. Do 2 damage per guy, per native that's in the land. I gotta get that one there. So I'm gonna get that power there. Now I have to decide one of my old cards to throw away. I'm gonna do this generic add presence to the board one. I like it, it's been really helpful, but I think of all the ones I have, I don't wanna throw away any of the cards. I'm gonna throw away that one there and keep all of these. So I get 3 energy. Notice I don't get that much energy. Some of the characters get more energy in the game. I don't get that much. I'm gonna have 4 card plays though, so I'm definitely gonna play this one here, the 2 damage per. I like that one a lot. Okay, I have an idea here that may let me win the game on this turn. We'll kind of see if it works out, but I'm going to try to do damage and take out that big town. If I can get 1 more fear card down here, I only have to kill the towns and the cities to win. I'm actually close to that level. This one here will allow me to damage towns. And I have the right symbol matching, which I will. I'll get to do 1 more damage to a town. So anything that gets built this turn, hopefully I can attack. So I'm not going to add up every last second of it just to kind of see what happens when I flip cards, but this might actually work. Okay, so first the fast cards. I have this card right here. It says 2 damage per guy. This is a super attack card right here. So I'm going to do this one right here. That's a total of 4 damage. This city is wiped out along with this guy right here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 for the city, 1 for the guy. And I get to add 2 fear for wiping out cities. So 1 and then 2, and that is a card. That's my only fast power. So I'm going to go ahead and read this card off. And it says, oh, I'm actually at the next level terror level. So actually it says, oh, interesting. It says defend all lands with my thing 2. So all my lands are going to get a big defense boost this turn. Also, any person that has a double stack in a land with invaders gets a bonus energy. 1 energy per. So I have, oh, this can come off, sorry. I have 1, 2 places. So I get 2 bonus energy for that card. So we have a double stack in areas with invaders. So that's kind of a cool card. I haven't seen that one before. So that's, I'm done with that card. So I'm going to put it in here so I'm going to confuse. Now we're on to their turn. They're going to ravage the coastlands. This is actually fine because this guy has, There's no targets. This guy here attacks, does 1 damage, but then gets killed back. This guy here, same thing, attacks, does 1 damage, but gets killed back. That card's done. Now they're going to build in the mountain. So this is a build. This guy here is going to build a house. That moves over, and now they're going to explore all the wetlands. So they're going to explore. Unfortunately, both of these are in range of this right here. So they explore that and that, but all I have to do is kill towns and cities, and this is actually going to be the game. I'm going to use this card right here, and it says damage to all towns, or 1 town, 1 damage to 1 town. I'm going to choose this one right here. This is going to get 1 damage, so it is injured right now, but I activate it with my 1 white here and my 2 greens, 1, 2, 3 greens actually. I can do 1 more damage. That's what this thing does right here. Oh no, I didn't win. Oh, this has a range of 0. I should have put a presence in there. It's not over yet. I thought it was over, but I can't actually hit that town again. I've made a mistake. If I could have put, I should have put a presence in that area when I was deciding earlier, and I would have won the game. So, but we play on. So the game is not over yet. I'm going to do this right here, which I'm going to target a land with invaders, and it's going to add another fear. Interesting. So the lesson to take away from all this is that if you've watched my channel much before and you see me play things like Viticulture and just crush the game, the reason that happens is because I've played Viticulture a lot. I'm not necessarily an expert at games. That I played this game a handful of times and I keep doing little things wrong here and there, but it makes it more interesting. I feel like I could have done a higher level difficulty, but I shouldn't say that too soon. Maybe I will somehow still fail this in the end. So on to my next turn. I get this thing that lets me put a presence in a jungle or water. I'm going to choose this jungle right here because it's the last jungle or water without a double stack. And I'm going to do, I think I will gain another power card here. I'm going to gain another major power. I'm going to just 3 energy right here. I'm going to try to gain another major power. So 1, 2, 3, 4, see what's out there. 3 fear. This one's pretty cool. Does a lot of damage. I'll take that one right there. I do have to throw away a card because it's a major power card. And I'm going to throw away, I'm just going to throw away this pushing one right here. So that's actually one of my basic cards. So that one is now gone, and I chose this one here, so I'm now going to pick cards to play. And I might as well just pick all 3 of these cards right here. That's a pretty simple decision for me this turn. They're going to attack mountains. So I'm just going to use this card here to defend the mountains just like I did before I defended, and put this right here to remind myself that I did a defense of 5. I get to add, if I add to a land that has people in it, I get to add 3 fear. So I'm going to go with this one right here because it has to have one of my red things and an invader, and it does. So 3 fear, 1, 2, 3. I feel like this is still cascading, even though I made a mistake there. I feel like it's still going in the right direction. So I added this fear right here. So this guy here is now going to get flipped in a second. 1, 2. Yeah, that's actually all I can do with that. So those 2 are done. And I'm going to go ahead and flip this over and see what it says. Oh, crazy. I haven't seen some of these cards before. I must have shuffled better. This says each town destroys a guy in its land. So there's only 1 town in the game right here, but this guy just gets deleted. It's called Scapegoat. So never seen that card before. I guess they're blaming that guy on me fighting back. So sorry, I don't know what his name is. We'll call him like Carl or something. So okay, on to them. They're going to ravage, and I thankfully defended, so nothing happens here. This is my defense card right here. So this is gone. That's why I played over there. They're going to build in the water, and I have plenty of these presents. I'm just going to throw away those 2 things and prevent those builds. Then they're going to explore sand. So they can't get to this sand, thankfully, so they're just going to explore this sand right there. Now I get to use my slow power. I need to pick an area up to 2 away from a spot I have a double stack, add 3 fear, and do 5 damage. So 3 fear is going to be another card. And now, 1 turn later, this is the game. 5 damage. Get rid of this house right here, the one I couldn't get last time. That would technically add another fear, but it doesn't matter. Win conditions are the moment you meet that condition, the game ends. You don't play till the end of the turn. You don't stop the moment it's done. So I destroyed that thing. I got rid of their last town or city. That's what the condition is over here. Pretty soon I was going to flip 1 more card, and I was going to be just get rid of the big cities anyway, so it wouldn't have really mattered that much. But this is actually pretty fun. I like this. I'm thinking if I might do this again for the channel in the future. I'm probably not going to make it easier, especially if I play this guy right here, this spirit. When I played this on solo before, I played another person, and he was really hard because if you look at the back of the cards, I'll show you this now, it shows what they're good at. He's good at offense, controlling the board, adding fear, not too much, really good at defense and utility. Not all of them are balanced. Some of them are really skewed in one direction. Those are hard to play. This guy worked pretty well. I'm thinking I might try it on the hard difficulty sometime. So thank you for watching the video. Hope you really enjoyed this. Hope you haven't ever played this on solo mode or haven't played the game at all. This is just a really good way to kind of see the board, see how it all works, kind of get how the mechanism works watching the playthrough. The game could have gone on for a while longer. I'll show you one more thing real quick. If I would have flipped this over, they would have started attacking 2 regions at once. The game was just about to get a lot harder those last 5 turns. If you run out of cards, that's another way to lose the game. So yeah, that's it. Hope you liked it. Of course, leave a comment. Let me know if you played before. Like the channel if you want to see more videos like this. A lot of solo playthroughs. Also a lot of group playthroughs. I do some reviews and some like fun top 10 sort of things. So yeah.